Good evening, folks. Again, we want to welcome you to a great edition of MLC Talk. This is the platform we discuss all things Lutheran. Today, we have our dear brother Elijah Zena. He's our host for this month, the month of November. Elijah, you take it away from the How's the area.
Well, thank you, Willie, and we want to say welcome to everyone to my Lutheran Connection show. Well, Minnesota is okay. We getting a little bit cooler now. As you know, we are getting to the point where we have to start hibernating again.
Man, say there's
so
no falling out. There's
yeah,
no
but
falling
so
out.
we do not have snow on the ground yet, but it just kind of chilly. But the weather is not too bad today. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Yesterday
Yeah,
he can wear a little
Georgia
bit.
is good.
Yeah,
It's like morning we have a little bit of chill in the morning,
yeah.
but during the week, during the day, it's
Okay.
warm for most of the time. It's warm for most of the time, and like in the evening again, about a few hours from now, about 2 3 hours from now, it start getting chilled again.
Yeah.
So far so good.
I
That's it
think
for Georgia. But
yeah. Let's
I
wrap up the share the show
yeah,
first,
yeah,
and, and,
yeah.
and
Let's go ahead and share the show in all of the chat rooms and have
let's get people into this room before we get into the meat of the show.
sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
And we supposed to have Mr. Sesegwia here today as our guest.
Yeah, absolutely. I also spoke with him briefly. He's making his way, so he should be joining us very shortly.
Other guys are at St. Peter's launching Abel's book.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah. Let's go ahead and share the show. Yeah. Um.
All right, yeah. Okay, Data Toto is here now. Okay,
Yeah.
posting.
That I is here.
Awesome.
I do, gentlemen.
We're doing all right. Welcome, Data Toto. How was service today?
Now they go to church today.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Just tell how we just checking in. How you're in? How's the family? Everything.
yeah, but and everything is okay. Just to do a couple of errands. Uh, you don't know what happened.
What happened?
I got I got prepared for church. Everything you see, I have one or two places to go first, but I got prepared for church. Everything, and then when I load, I can find my water in my jean pocket. I don't want to do. So I'm looking for it and everything outside there. And I said, let me go check downstairs to see what happened. Maybe I will probably do whatsoever. That knew my dog took my weather and carried downstairs, happy finding my weather.
Hmm.
Yeah, my dog. My dog took my weather and carried downstairs in the basement and happy photo here.
Oh wow.
Tearing my credit card, my bank card, and everything I played with. So I said, I can't be get animal abuse today.
So that daughter know. That daughter know why you playing well.
I will beat the hell out of you today, Telly. Yeah. So by that I got you looking for everything, but it was late for me to go to church. So
Yeah,
I had
you.
to go do one or two errands. Already planned for the day,
Okay.
I don't already come to be on the show. So, but whether I been good on my end here,
Okay.
we I can say we in the winter now. It's cool, fun.
Hmm.
We just take it one step at a time.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right, folks, and we want to take this time to welcome everyone to the show. I know our sister couple will be joining us later on. However, we are here to discuss all things Lutheran. And today, our topic we're looking at is the protest that happened at the Lutheran University. And we have credible information that some students were suspended without notice. So we're going to be looking critically today at the Lutheran University. how are things going on, is the how the administrators are running the university. So those are some of the things that were they wrong for suspending these students, and why did they not notify these students in time about the suspension? So we're gonna be there. So today on the show today we have a guest who will be Mr. Cecil Goya, who is a Liberian educator. He also gonna be providing his expert opinion on the situation. But however, we're gonna be looking at the situation in depth, holding all fighters constant. Um, for this, oh, you have a feedback there, Dr. Toto.
Yeah, I already take a look at
Yeah.
that.
So we're gonna be looking at all of those things and giving, our putting all of those things on the lens today, and coming up with some recommendation or suggestion and thing, and see how best we can move our institution forward. Because we know whether the action of the administration is something that would bring the institution the popular ridicule, or would it be something that they can revisit. So today's conversation gonna be centered around the Lutheran University and the suspended students. So we have done due diligence to the process, and we will let you know what we've done. Because on my Lutheran connection, we want to bring you factual information. We don't want to bring one-sided information. So we've done due diligence to the process and spoken to all of the stakeholders, including the aggrieved students as well. So, gentlemen, I want to take this time to welcome you guys to the show. Dr. Toto.
Yep, so
So, like I said,
Elijah,
uh-huh.
quick, before we dig, we dig dive into this topic.
Yeah.
Could we just do our round of what's on your mind?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah, okay.
That's what I was going to.
That's okay. Sorry.
That's what I was calling on Dr. Toto to just what are some of the happenings besides our topic today? What's on your mind?
Our topic is a hot cake.
Mm-hmm.
It's on my mind. Yeah. Even if I can be the peer to that, I'm going to put it out today. I have feel like some time ago when it comes to the issue of the Lutheran University, it's a hot cake.
Mm-hmm.
And also to the issue of the bishop indictment. It kind of raising some popular Lutheran sentiment. I mean, not just the general public, but popular Lutheran sentiment.
Okay.
You see, people are no longer hiding their feeling.
Mm-hmm.
People are calling for the bishop to recuse himself,
Mm-hmm.
which is a hot topic of discussion. People another time will address that, but it's becoming alarming now. This is why we call communication. I just wish the bishop office should hire me to be the seriously.
You want to be the PR for the bishop office?
I saw some communication about Lutheran Connection.
Yeah, in the chat room, yeah.
I said, I just wish I was the spokesperson of the bishop hire me. I come to deal with that communication the way I'm supposed to deal with it.
Trust me, I had the same feeling too.
To be sport.
Yeah.
I put a response together. I wanted to post in the chat room. I said, no. Let me not do anything. I'm not a bishop spokesperson. You're not the spokesperson for LCR.
Yeah.
You're not the player. But these are the two we're talking about. People need to speak out to address the issue, to clear doubt. If not, people are going to come up and pound the bishop with this thing. So these are the two things on my mind when it comes to the alleged subject.
Yeah. I don't know who, for me, I got a whole different opinion on the whole thing. And I don't know why Jerome Cody decided to do this video. And you say, I'm a lone man, but you're using collective adjectives while you were being interviewed. We. So is it that you are the face of a bigger group, and then you're trying to make it look that you are the lone guy in this fight? But just my thing about the whole thing, right? The issue of morality. His point is, or their point is, morally the bishop should recuse himself, and then he should do this, and then later on when he's vindicated, he can come back. Okay, so let's look at that. If the bishop is recusing himself from being a bishop. What does that even say about the church? What moral value does it add to the church than him being serving as a bishop and also going through his process? Because this is an allegation. It is not, he's not proven guilty, but he's the bishop. He's still functioning as the bishop. Since the bishop indictment, has there been a function of the bishop's office that has not been active, or he has not been performing his role as a bishop? So these are things we should take into consideration and say, oh, the bishop is going through this process, so it's impeding his work. But the whole thing is not impeding the bishop's work. He's working. So the executive council also, they've written and said, we stand by the bishop. And that's the ecclesiastical body, the BMTA, the pastors. They have not come out and say, because you are in court, you have to recuse yourself. They stand by the bishop. So while lay people come out and say, oh, the bishop indicted, and then my man Dickinson also, with the help of AI, he goes and just download that from AI and bring it and put it down and say, yeah, all this thing, he's making those points. But I think we have to be careful as Lutherans. For me, that's my opinion. Allow the bishop to go through this process like other folks have done in the past. They have been certificated. The bishop case is is in the court. The court just reopened this November. So probably bishop might be going through a process. And then the bishop asked that he's going to be taking the leave. Now people are questioning whether the bishop can take 1 month leave or this and that. Yes! It's the administrative manual is there. He can take sabbatical. So you can't say self-proclaimed leave and all that kind of stuff. But that's another topic for another time. That
yeah, definitely. That is higher me. That is higher me.
I know when he's going to be one of the bishop recruiting. I want to hear from him.
That is higher me.
That's why I've been very patient. You know, I'm on the opposite side of the both of you at this time. I have an opposing view to the fact that the bishop is doing his work at the same time, while going through this proceeding. The fact remains that we are looking at a religious grouping and not a secular group. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I'm looking at. The next one I'm looking at also is this, that the impact of this allegation, what it's having on the members of the church. Okay. There was a bishop here in the ELCA, I'm just forgetting her name, but she was one of the very first Black African-American bishop to be elected in the ELCA. She was accused on something that was alleged, and the executive council or the church council of that Senate went to a meeting and they had her to be relieved of that post. There are some allegations that we can say, okay, if, for example, saying that, the bishop was defending, the bishop is defending the Tower Hill land and people took the LCR to court and bishop is going to court, forget it. We will all even leave from the U.S. and be on ground, be behind the bishop, say, let's go to court and be there. But the allegation that we are looking at and the stigma that is having also on the church, I think that's the reason why this bishop being very far-sighted and smart enough, and he listened to his lieutenants around him. That's the reason why he decided saying that, you know what, I will step away for a month and, and focus on this issue and let the church run. Okay. If it's because of ego, you will say, you know what, forget about it. I will keep doing what I want to, I will keep serving as bishop and whatever noise that is out there and keep functioning as bishop and at the same time, going through this proceeding. Now, mind you, I know there's a conversation for another day, but mind you, I would say that very well that, there's information, even the bishop family is not really satisfied with what the situation is going on. Okay, the bishop family himself, they didn't say no, the stigma that is having on the impact is that this case is having on them. So, by and large, it is affecting his family. It's also affecting the church. And I believe that's the reason why the bishop also being far-sighted and said, you know what, I will step away for a month and allow this process to continue. For me, I'm just saying the entire process. If the process would take 1 week, after 1 week, he's vindicated, he come back. we are the Lutheran Church in Liberia met and decided that they would stand with the bishop, they would pray along with him, they will, stick by him. But
my
go ahead.
question to you.
Go
The
ahead.
issue of the morality of the case, right? The bishop stepping aside, the bishop not stepping aside. Okay, let's take that whole all factors constant. The bishop step aside. What moral value does that bring to the church versus him still being the bishop? He's still the bishop. He's still the bishop. He's still the bishop.
Right.
And he go on. He step aside and say, "Oh, I'm leaving, but I will come back later on." All right. What's the moral gratification here?
Okay, so good. That is a very good question. The moral gratification is the act of taking some sense of responsibility, taking some sense of accountability. Say, what happened? I know it is impacting you people. I'm taking accountability on this. I will step aside for a while and allow the church to function. Again, I want to set example to this lady. To this lady, she was historically one of the very first person to become bishop, black bishop in the ELCA.
Wait.
But
okay,
go ahead.
Let me just page a little bit.
Go ahead.
I 100% agree with you. What you say, we can't do the bishop recusing himself sanctity, and I want to do that, and I push for that already. Well, you say you did for both of us. I'm not with Elijah. Inside on 100%.
Okay.
All right. I'm not with him.
I'm alone, so here, huh?
The reason why I say about the communication aspect, because I say if I were the bishop lieutenant, I'd be hired for communication person. I can't deal with that communication. Out.
Yeah.
The way I suppose it should be addressed, I can't deal with it.
Jonah guys. I'm the host here. Jonah guys. Next Sunday.
Yeah,
would be this conversation.
We can have Degasi William. We can have Degasi William on the show next Sunday.
Yeah,
how about background looking?
We can bring Degasi on the show. Okay. Before you bring that, no, you don't put the man back down. Put that man back down. Put the man down. We gotta do that man. I bet a big man. They're coming.
How about background looking? First of all, how about background looking? Background okay?
The background okay.
Yeah, background okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to take this time to welcome you to the Lutheran Connection. We were just kind of chit-chatting, waiting for our guests to arrive in studio. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to our studio Mr. Sisi Guia, an educator working with the Minneapolis school system. The guy who understands mathematics, make mathematics simple, but he cannot solve the Harvard mathematics.
You get
they have them.
You need a solve
one equal to 1. You got to answer that here today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome on stage our guest of honor, Mr. Sisi Guia.
I'm not what I want.
Welcome, Mr. Guia, to the show.
Hey, I see how I had trouble.
So, if you, I think, since you agree with me, when you do base analysis in mathematics, it wasn't 1 + 1 would not be, it would possibly be 1 if you do base, right?
Well, they gotta tell what base are you seeing in heaven.
I know.
Y'all gotta bring that Harvard mathematics. Y'all gotta simplify that Harvard mathematics for us.
But anyway, I'm sorry for running late.
It's okay.
I had some husband duties to do. Unlike that, Toto, who the man, Toto let daughter misbehave on your wallet and they went and punished.
I know, but what about
I have a conversation about them, my man. I was listening to the show. I laughed at the Toto man and let daughter misbehave and they went unpunished.
I want have animal abuse.
All right. So, okay, welcome to the show, Mr. Guia. How you doing? Can you just tell how you doing? This is just a check-in. How you doing? Have the family? Before we can get into what we should be discussing here today.
I am grateful. I am well. Just returned from church. Family is great. We're grateful to God, and it's always good to be on, especially my own brother, Dr. Toto. We intersect in many circles. There are many shows and many political platforms. So it's always nice to be on here. And for disclaimer, Willie is my cousin, but I've just filed paperwork at the border to remove him from my family. We will go there before we start today.
Y'all go watch the record. I be the man. I be the man, you know.
No worries, no worries, no worries. Family tree can bend, but it can break. So
Right now we're discussing the Lofa Nima border. That's what we're discussing.
we have to discuss it at our border. So ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you to the show today. We have our brother Sister Guia in studios. Just before we get into the topic on the discussion, we want to give you guys some backdrop of what we are talking about here today. So today we are looking at the Lutheran University students protest that happened some times ago and what led to that protest. And today some students are suspended. And we want to look at the decision made by the Board of Trustees of the university and that of the president to suspend some students without notice. And should these students undergo their punishment? Was it legitimate to punish them for what they did? So we're going to be looking at all of those things and holding all factors here constant. So we know that there were administrative failures at the Lutheran University that caused the students to stop protesting. And then we had like student leadership taking action to kind of bring their friends outside to protest. There were security lapses and a lot of emergency situation or failures that happened, and that led to the protests on campus. So with that, we have received communication from students or complaint from students on the campus of the Lutheran University informing us that, I was told that I was suspended without a written notification, and I went to register before I was told that I'm suspended. So with that information, we contacted the office of the president. We contacted the director, not the director, but the president of the board of trustees, Mr. Abel Wally. And then we also contacted the head of the laboratory of the Lutheran University and to get the background story of what happened during the investigation process, and also why the investigative report is not made public up to now. So how is the university functioning and how things are going? Those are the things that we're going to be looking at here today. So with that, I want to welcome you guys to this conversation. Mr. Cesar Guia, you are our expert in the room. And let me give you a little bit of a backdrop of my investigation. So after the protests on campus, we received communication just this week, last week, from students saying that they were suspended without notification. So I reached out to the president for the board of trustees to just do the my Lutheran Connection show. We reached out to the board of trustees to just ascertain what happened. First thing, the president of the board of trustees, the chair, Mr. Abel, they acknowledged that the board made there were recommendations for corrective actions against the students, which of course, but he did not see the communication that was written for the decision that was made by the board of trustees. So we followed that up by calling because the students that made a complaint. So I spoke with two of the students, Jackson, who was suspended for one semester because they said he disrupted accreditation process. And then Abraham also, who also was suspended for one semester. He was not on the campus when the accreditation was happening, but he was suspended also for one semester. Reason I stated aside that why he was suspended for one semester. I'm not questioning their punishment. Let me be clear. We're not questioning the punishment, but we are looking at the procedure leading to the action. So we followed up that with the guy who's responsible for the laboratory, the head of lab at the Lutheran University in Phoebe, Mr. Morris Kekula. He explained to us exactly what happened, and it was no different from what the student had explained, that he walked into the classroom during the assessment process, and then he was asked whether he was part of the classroom. He said no, but he was audited the class because the head of lab had asked them to be there when the accreditation was going on based on communication. However, the board of trustees made a decision, wrote one communication, and that communication outlined so many different things that the student did that stemmed from blocking the entrances of the hospital during the protest, not making ambulances to go to the hospital. Also, the lack of the faculties in the building, which was security lapses that led to that the student did that. It was criminal, holding people inside. That was a criminal action. We acknowledge that as well. And then also the accreditation process. Those were the three major things that I took out of that communication that they took action on. So, Mr. Guia, being an educator, being a student leader before, participating in protests, what do you think went wrong here and who should be held responsible?
Well, thank you for having me on. First of all, my first question, and this is just to balance me in the conversation I'm going to have.
Mm-hmm.
Does the Lutheran University have a student handbook? And are there section in the student handbook that talks about protest and student action and established due process?
I know, according to the information that I received, there's a student handbook, but the provision to the specific question, I'm not aware of that one. So that's something that we can ascertain.
Did the letter as written to the students regarding their suspension or to the deans to enforce suspension, did the letter in any way cite a breach of any provisions in the student handbook?
I would say yes to that question. The letter was written by the president of the university, Dr. Sakri Managba, to the dean to enforce the letter and also asking the dean to immediately distribute that communication to the students that he had requested them to be suspended. To the question as to whether it is in the student handbook, the code of conduct states that the president of the university can only expose students from the university, but the dean of the college should be the one suspending students. So that is
Elijah, the question I'm asking,
Mm-hmm.
the question I'm asking is the letter in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Did it cite anything about the student violating certain sections of the student handbook?
Nope.
So that we know,
Elijah,
because when you go to university, sorry, go ahead.
I think we have copied the letter in the chat room. Can we share the letter on the letter on the screen?
Yeah, when they should be able to do that. When it gets back, we'll put the letter on the screen.
The reason I'm asking the question, Elijah, is that if I'm a student,
mm-hmm.
and the student handbook is my guide.
Yes.
And if you're going to take action against me,
mm-hmm.
most times it has to be that I violated something within that guide that you give me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like the Constitution. You have to quote which provision of that guide that I violated. So that's my first question. Does the letter in any way call out, the student violated, according to the student handbook section, this, blah, 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 the violated that? Does it call that out?
It did not. The letter did not mention any article within the student code of conduct.
Not at all.
It did not mention anything. And we're gonna put that on the screen. Okay, we're gonna put that on the screen.
I'm seeing the letter here. The letter did not address the question.
No, it did not address that question.
Right.
And then another thing here is, Mr. Guia, the communication that they sent, the communication acknowledges that the student action was due, it was genuine, it was right, and all that kind of stuff. So my thing here is,
Elijah.
Yeah.
Can you just maybe to read the letter out
Thank
here?
you. I saw the letter for our viewing audience. I didn't want us to be discussing something that they didn't know. That's why I didn't.
Yeah. Please go ahead and read the letter that I told us since you have it.
Go ahead and read the letter.
So the title of the letter, plea withhold registrations. It says Sacred Barikwa, September 18, 11:58 a.m. 30 days ago to me. And I go to a greeting, Mr. Lowett and Mr. Brown. As student on the Phoebe campus, I'm not registered. I'm asking you to withhold the registration for the student listed below until I complete my dialogue with the Board of Trustees. In communicating with the information to the student, please inform them that the decision is because I can see that part too clear. Yeah, so it was responsible for me to be frank. Yeah, I guess. Let me try to zoom in.
The one the one you read, you reading, that was the one that they sent to that Mr. Lois and that the other.
To
And then
suspend the people, right?
the one that was the one that was the first one was sent to Mr. Lois, and I can also try to read that because the prints are
Yeah,
smaller.
kind of become
It
a
will
fool.
put it on the screen. Let me read that one. This is a disciplinary action letter. Okay.
Okay, yeah, read that one.
Let me read the discipline. It said, "Dear sir, as you may be aware, as you are aware, last semester the Phoebe campus of the Lutheran University, LUL, was involved in two student uprising in which
Okay, I see that.
student aired their grievances and scapulated in a 24-point count. Not only did the student have right to express their grievances, but some of their claims was so legitimate that the university administration and the leadership of the Lutheran Church in Liberia did not procrastinate in addressing the students' grievances. What are those grievances that were addressed? They did not list them. However, it just stated. However, while the student had right of freedom of expression, the blocking passage to Phoebe Hospital not only had the propensity to damage our relationship with the sisterly institution, but more importantly, it endangered lives. Likewise, locking up faculties and threatening to set the building ablaze was criminal. Furthermore, deliberately interrupting the extended accreditation assessment of the lab department was aimed at defaming the university and possibly causing us accreditation. Relative to the foregoing, I was bombarded and demand for some corrective or disciplinary actions. Leaders of the students involved in the three cases cited above. Consequently, I consulted faculty administrator at Phoebe alongside stakeholders, including LUL board trustees and ex-officials members. While no one recommended expulsion, there was a general consensus for disciplinary action, although respondents differ in the manner and extent of such action. After my consultation, I am herewith exacting the below delineated disciplinary actions. As the dean between my office and faculty and student, that's Mr. Lower he's referring to, I urge you to inform the affected students individually of my decision. That this is by my directive, not yours. Please ensure the correct spelling of students' name. I had appealed to you to withhold registration of the students involved. However, if suspended students have registered, either their money will be returned or held until they come back, whichever they prefer. Thanks, Mr. Lowell, and feel free to share the above note. Corrective action following student. Suspended for one semester effective the first day of classes. And then we go to let me go to the letter that has the name of the students on it. That will be Jackson and hold on. Let me get that communication. Because you know the guys the scan is getting
so those two
Yes,
fellows.
I do. I want to say that the communication. How to read that while Elijah is okay.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of other people for 10 days, so we can leave those other people for the 10
Yeah.
business days.
Yeah.
But
No, I want to read the last part of the letter.
the last part of the letter. I'll talk
Yeah,
about it coming back.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah. The last part of the letter say, finally, suspended students should not visit, let alone live on campus during their suspension. Furthermore, upon returning to school, each suspended student must be subjected to group counseling section for 2 weeks. Double jeopardy, get put into man 2 times. Sign a statement that he or she will not be involved in, nor encourage other students to be involved in any violent actions in the school. Let me clarify, this does not mean the student will be barred from legitimately expressing their freedom of speech and assembly, but not to be involved in any violation. Did not state the violation earlier. It's not stated also. Students failing to comply, but these demand would stay out of school until they do. Thanks again, Mr. Lewis. Sincerely yours, Sakwi Manangba, President Lutheran University. That's the communication.
So, Elijah, rather.
Yeah.
Dr. Sakwi Malakpa is my uncle, so I'm going to give him due deference. I'm going to give him some respect. But the letter in its entirety is capricious. It's an overreach. It is the tone of the letter itself is combative. And I do not believe that it is providing an opportunity for these students to learn. You can remember, this is a university. It's a place of learning. Learning doesn't just happen in the classroom, right? And Dr. Toto is a professor, so I want to put that in the space that learning doesn't just happen in the classroom. It happens with interactions. I think that Dr. Malachi in that letter was in his feelings. Because the reason I asked the question about the existence of a student handbook and the citation of the particular violations of the student handbook is because if I'm a student, what guides my action is the student handbook. You have in there code of conduct, rules of behavior, everything is in there. And punishment is not arbitrary. There is an assigned protocol and ways in which cases are adjudicated and punishments are laid out based on whatever the gravity of the circumstances are. As you read the letter, it seems that the honorable president, when they are asking other people how they felt about the actual stuff, he doesn't have a made up committee to look into stuff like this. And then he handed out a punishment that had no consensus on what the punishment should be and for how long. Folks wanted a pound of flesh, which is what it seems like. What should that pound of flesh, what part of the body it comes from, was what nobody decided on. And so if you're going to ask people about their feelings on a particular situation that happened, and you're going to take action, then you might as well go back and have a consensus. Furthermore, the university is operating like a middle school. You are a university in Liberia. We know the history of university protests in Liberia, right? Forget that this is a religious university. The students that are coming to your university have seen what happens on LU. They've seen what happened at Cotiton. They've seen everywhere else. How are you not prepared? How do you not have a student protest policy in place? Because they didn't cite any of those. If they had it, they would have cited it, right? And so you went to the end, and I wanted to really touch on that end part of it. You're asking a few students to sign certain documents that they will be peaceful, right? This is less than 10% of the student population. You're requiring to sign documents to be peaceful. Are you requiring your other students to also sign documents to be peaceful, or is the peace of the university solely on the shoulders of these students? Right? For me, I see that as as an overreach, as that the university did not sit down to think about this critically. And evidence of their lack of sitting to think critically is the fact that there is an earlier communication asking to withhold registration while they are going through their process. So why are you withholding my registration before you lay out a punishment? Why don't you speed out the conversation and then just come once and for all? So why are you even withholding registration?
Sissy, let me hold you right there. That's a very valid point. And here is the thing, Sissy. An educational institution holding the student accountable for their action, the criminal action, like blocking of the passage of the hospital, putting people, locking people up in the building, those are things that went above and beyond. Those are criminal action. You can hold them accountable for that. But holding everybody accountable, administration, how is the president of the LUL holding the administrators accountable for what led to the protests on campus? Now, number one thing here is you send a communication, you say, suspend this student, let them know. And the administrator, the dean, refused to immediately release that communication to the student. So that's administrative lapse. And then I talked to the president. Let me say this. I called the president. I said, okay, your dean did not give the letter to the student, or then heard it from the registrar's office. Okay, how are you holding him accountable for what he did? If the president tells me, oh, he and I, we are infused because of that. Oh, so because you and the dean, you're infused, so the students will suffer for that? So how is the Lutheran University running? What's the administration doing? You guys gave your input on that.
So let me try to play the mind of Sissy a little bit. You know, a very good gentleman. I like how he can call spear or spear in some of our political discussion. And I read a letter even a long time ago before we brought this out in the public. Some of the students reached out to us personally to express their disappointment. And let me make it clear, I'm one of the signatories to the Lutheran University when the gradual establishment of it. And the vision we have for that university is to be one of the best in Liberia, not just in Liberia, but West Africa. So that's the vision we have with the Lutheran University. And they come on the board with Dr. Maragwa, great experience, great educator from some of the best universities in the world. You know, so we're so proud of him when he came out to be the first president of the university. But since this is the thing here, when it comes to diaspora Liberia and Liberian home-based Liberia, most of the criticism have been we that come from the side, with all the vast knowledge we have, the experience we have, we tend not to leverage it when we get back to Liberia. Look at the Lutheran University situation, the issue of due process. It's very important. Where due process given to the students to accelerate themselves. Was it given? So do you think now somebody will say, oh, how they put from America can do things when they come here? How do you draw the line where a criticism of that hit the office of Dr. Maragwa?
I think, and that's the question, that's what we see. So when we talk about due process, it takes on different dress code based on where you at, right? And what's your code of conduct is, and what is the rules guiding you. And that's why I asked that question, Dr. Toto, and you're right, you're reading my mind, because the reason I asked that question from the beginning about the student handbook, and then asking Elijah if there were any citation in the letter about a violation of certain protocols in the student handbook was exactly that. Because then that establishes due process. In the student handbook, you lay out, if this happens, here is the process, right? You either get to meet with 3 people and you have your kids heard, and if this is the situation, you get 10 days suspension, you get 50 days, you get expulsion. There has to be clearly laid out and communicated process. Outside of that, you can't have due process, because due and process are together. What is due mean? What is the right way in the process? The process has to be defined. But as it is right now, there's nothing defined. And to your point, Dr. Toto, this is one thing we struggle with. You and I have been on a lot of platforms, we in EULA, we everywhere, as we talk, when we go places and talk, people say, you're diaspora Liberians, you talk big talk when you get here, you don't walk the talk, right? And this is not a way of trying to put any aspiration on Dr. Mark. I respect him a lot. I mean, I follow his work here in the US, a very brilliant mind, a very smart man. But the system has just had its first test. You know how we do these fire drills at work and all these things at work? The system has just had its first fire. How are you reacting? What is the lesson learned? instead of being heavy-handed, how could this be an opportunity for both the students and the administrators to learn? Where we have gaps, we don't have a student protest policy. We recognize that now. How can we create that? We don't have a protocol on where students can go to protest. How do they request protest? We don't have a layout way to met out punishment. We don't have committee set up that are empowered to hear punishment or even hear appeals. So as it is right now with this letter, there is not an appeal process. It's final. You made a judgment in the absence of the students, and they don't have an opportunity to appeal. First, they don't have an opportunity to face the accusers. Two, they don't have an opportunity to appeal the verdict coming down from an overnight shadow court, right? And so for me, I have
to that point, Sissy, to that point that you just made, in conversation with the president of the Lutheran University, and when he asked me, "What do you guys want out of this thing?" I said, "There's a need to revisit the decision that you guys made, because the administrators, they are in error. They need to be accountable and held accountable for some of the things that are happening. So the students should not be the only ones bearing the consequences of this situation." And then the president was very adamant with me and said his decision is final. And then he followed that up and said one of the students' parents have threatening to take the university to court if their child is not admitted. Is this a good path to take as a young university? Like you rightly said, there's no appeal process in the verdict that was passed. Again, an educational institution, are we punishing people for correction, or are we just doing punitive punishment for students? Because you can do something called retroactive judgment, wherein they will register, but there are things that you lay out. So you're going to come to school because our number one goal is to educate you. But you are coming to school, but these are things that you're supposed to be, you're going to do in order to be in the school. So you are punishing the student, but you are doing retroactive punishment, and they are serving that punishment, but at the same time, they are learning. You are meeting that objective. So I think this was lacking in this whole process, Mr. Goya. What do you think about that?
I think my uncle, Dr. Malakwa, is upset, and I think he's acting within that feeling. And I'm just saying it as it is. Based on your conversation, he's upset that this happened. And we're going back to old school Loman thing. I value you catch a whooping. I don't care what happened, you get a beating, right? And I think this is what is happening right here, right now. Look, Dr. Malakwa comes from a very big university system. And this is where some of my disappointment is coming in. How could he not have seen that there were going to be some times where students were not going to be happy? Because students are never 100% happy with what happens on the university campuses. I don't care how great the university is. That is the reason it is a place of learning. As students learn more, they demand more, they want more. You have to do better. That's why the Harvard and everywhere else they have student protests. As a matter of fact, I went to a university that has student protests every day. We have a protest zone. We have an area where they call the free speech protest zone. Every day you power somebody against some kind of placard, kind of thing. Why they have calculus class at 8 o'clock in the morning? They should never have calculus class at 8 in the morning. There was a protest. Somebody is down there with their banner because they're mad that there was a calculus class at 8. And they didn't think that made sense. But what the faculty would do would drive around there, see the points that students are raising, use that as a way to fix certain things or improve the system. According to the letter, there were a lot of things that the students demanded or that they brought to light that the university accepted and acted upon. So there was a learning right there, right? So the other pieces that they brought out that the university didn't feel were appropriate, what did they do? Did you create a dialogue? We accepted this part. So that means the students were not completely stupid. There were parts of the protest that were accepted. So the parts that did not make sense, what did you do? Did you just trash them, throw it away, and move on? Then that is not a university system. And I think we
let me hold you right there, that Mr. Simpson. The conversation is good, and we want to bring in Dr. Toto and Witty and I think we have a student on the phone. We
Sure.
want to understand from one of the students can we bring that charge the student through?
Yeah, go ahead. State your name and yeah, everyone listening.
Yeah. I'm Andrew Timoa, one of the students on TV, and one of the students who are also suspended for 10 days. So when it comes to some issue about the school right now, are trying to get some recommendation. Also, some of them happen. So with that protest, one of the main reasons we protested were they were due to the delay. And now as we speak, the same issue that we were talking about delay. Calendar even were placed off since August in every semester they run for 4 months. And now we are hearing the semester will close this February. So if you look at that, also 6 months into consideration. And that's another delay. And with this situation, how will you expect students to do what they're supposed to do? And again, it has to do with even the laboratory department. We said accreditation went on place, and when accreditation was going, we have a laboratory director who is not even a master degree holder with 2 university. And I don't know how they go carry out investigation to the other recommendation. And now, since that accreditation went on, no good research, no graduation. Instead of a big and student graduation. And with that university now, how will you consider that into consideration as well? And we have so many things on mind. And you look at me, tell me I was suspended for 10 days, no at all. And the university both said we were going to investigation. And the investigation they went to, I was not investigated. And the president don't even know me. The president don't even have office with one account for the president don't even visit the university. He don't even know the daily happiness. So how will you know just divide in that letter you try to correct the mood or the freshness? So there are so many things that even the board have to put in place for it to be corrected. Yes.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Dr. Toto and Sese, listening to what the student just said, do we have a full operational university in your mind, or we have a university that's just on paper and running a ship somewhere? I want to get your opinion on that. There, yeah.
So
Do you think we have a full operational university, or we have a Scottish ship somewhere just calling it a Lutheran University for now?
we have a full operating university.
And why you say that?
We have a university that operating that be accredited by the higher commission.
Okay, hold on, Dr. Toto.
You know they make that interesting.
Yeah,
Hold on, Dr. Toto. Hold on. You said we have a full.
Yeah, we have a full-fledged university.
Do you think that the president of the university has control over the staff he's running?
So that's a question.
Yeah, given the situation where he instructed the dean to make a decision, the dean did not act. Now the students are threatening lawsuit. Do you think this is the way that a non-university should be proceeding? How can we bridge this gap and restore trust to the university? I want to get your opinion on that.
So first of all, that get established. We have a full-fledged university running that been accredited by the Higher Learning Commission Liberia.
Okay.
So the university is operating. And if you can recall some time ago, Tata Baragwa, on the same show, we discussed the issue of the Lutheran University. Mm-hmm. There was some there's some fusion between Dr. Maragwa and some of his deans in terms of delegating responsibility, where I think the bishop of the Lutheran Church will come and step in to resolve some of the disputes that were there. So they didn't want to take authority or respect from him. They had certain bad blood, or people fear that I've been the system for a long time when the Phoebe camp was just operating on their own. They were not just part of the Lutheran University. So people wanted to protect their job. They wanted to protect their base. And Dr. Baragba was just coming in to try to bring some change in. And change is very difficult to accept. So these are some of the basic misorders that were going on. So I believe If that Malagwa request that just honor, like you said, maybe some of the fusion have not been fully dissolved 100% yet. Yes, if some of those in the background are undermining some of this stuff.
Okay, with that response that I told you, I still want to ask you the question. You acknowledge that we do have a full-fledged university accredited by the government of Liberia on paper. Now, I want to understand what is the current administrative structure of the Lutheran University? Do we have a president, vice president for student affairs, administration? What that structure like to be able to address some of these issues? Do we have a president, vice president for students affairs? Besides the dean?
Elijah,
What's the current structure besides the president? Yeah.
Let's address the issue of protest with the student today. Leave the structuring aspect. The university have a president, have a board of trustees that run the university.
The board of trustees is not the ones to run
the president had the president had team, the president run the day-to-day activity of the university. And they are running but the protest came off. The protest exposed the issue off. They address the issue of the protest and whether the act was suspended the students.
No, that total that.
All right.
To be very serious. No, that total. Let us not play the devil advocate here, right? They agree that there's serious administrative shortcoming of the Lutheran University. We do not have a structural functional university. We have a structural university approved and accredited on paper. But in action, do we have a functional system in action? We don't have it. We have to acknowledge that we don't have it. Because if we had a structure in place, we would not be talking some of these things that we're talking here today. And we had a protest because of systemic failure. Because the administrators of the university failed to meet the needs of the students after so many attempts. That's the reason why we are here today and talking this thing.
All right. I want
to Willie. So we are here today because there was failure in administration. We are here today because students protested. We are here today because students were suspended without being notified. And all those things, we agree that is on the administration. So should the students be the one bearing the consequences of this, or should the administration be revisiting her decision and provide retroactive judgment to these students, holding them accountable for the criminal act they carry on campus, and also at the same time meeting the objective of educating these students? I want to hear your thoughts on that.
So okay, so let me come in on this, and that first, the administration did urge that the students that were suspended, they should have been receive their communication informing them that they have been suspended either for a semester and they can either go to a different university and come back, or lay some other criteria in order to serve that suspension. I'm not proud of it. I've been suspended also for a week in school, in high school, and we had to bring our parents. So the information was in there. You are suspended for a week, and at the end of the part of the suspension is to bring your parent to have a dialogue. The faculty will have a dialogue, with your parents. And we always went and manufacture parents from Gobacho Market. We took our parents from Gobacho Market to Sikizito. But I want to come in defense also of the Lutheran University. My dear brother, I don't want to agree with you that because the university does not have this root or the branches that you have the president, vice president for administration, and dean of this and dean of student affairs, and all of the structures and everything. That's why causing these riots on campus or these protests on campus. I don't want to agree with that, because guess what? Even here within the United States of America, you have all these structures of people still going and protest. My dear cousin had just alluded to that. Someone protesting for why calculus is being taught 7:30 in the morning instead of 9 p.m. Okay, now everyone will not be satisfied. We have a president, we have board of directors, we have dean, and we also have a controller, We have Dean of Vera University. You know, Rome was not built in one day time. From I mean, we also have calls coming in, and I'm pretty sure we dedicate time to pick some of these calls. There are 2 calls on hold right now. I will tell you that from these students, how passionate they are, like you and I, about this Lutheran University. I want to agree that the university system is taking shape. Okay, I don't want to say that there's no structure. That's the reason why we're having all of these issues. It is taking shape, but
No,
my brother,
don't get me wrong,
was not
Willie.
built
I'm
in
not
one
saying
day.
there's no structure. I'm talking about
Right.
a functional structure.
A
All right, we're
functional
talking about a
structure is there.
functional structure here.
A
Like
functional
the
structure is there.
example you just gave about what Sister stated, that's instructional thing. The protest did not happen because of instructional thing. The protest happened because of some systemic failure and the basic needs of students on boarding students on campus were not met. They were sleeping on grounds and all the kind of stuff. So that's the instructional thing. So
Yeah.
and
Can
here's
I-
my thing.
can I-
You as the expert here, that I told you
Can,
also.
can we take the guy quick? He's been calling it 3 times now.
Okay,
Please.
let's take the call and then I will get to you with my
Okay,
questions.
go ahead. We give you 2 minutes, please. Go ahead quickly.
This is similar as what I don't know what title to give it. I'm a graduating senior. I've been a graduating senior for the past 2 years now. Since I came from affiliation this year, February, up to now, the school can tell me when will be graduation, not even to talk about graduation fees. And we've been sitting since we came, even letter of recommendation or expectation, the school is not willing to give it to us. It's very, very disappointing. I entered the school since 2018. I have not sat for a semester. I have not repeated a course. I have not failed. Not at all. The school is really killing our dreams, killing our profession. Seriously. If there is a need that a Lutheran board can really intervene so that the school can be a better one, we really appreciate it. We love the school. We love the institution. For the way it is proceeding, if caution is not taken, if corrective action is not taken, it's going to lose the prestige that it has out there. Seriously. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And call us, viewers, you can call 404-690-3470. We're going to make sure to have this number stable so you can call in. Go ahead, Elijah.
Willie, let's go ahead and recognize our viewers and some of the comments that we have in the chat room, and then we'll come back and get some opinion from our expert in the room.
Sure, absolutely. We have the Reverend Irisako. Reverend Irisako, as you know, is the former director of Lutheran School Systems. He's watching from St. Paul Airfield. Diagnostic Airfield Alfred Davis. We say thank you. He's watching there from Phoebe. Andrew Noah is also on Swakoko campus.
They read what they're saying. They read some of the things that they're saying as well.
Oh, okay. All right. So good evening. I'm following. I'm following from the Lutheran University campus of Liberia, Phoebe campus, Swakoko district. All right. Nyanen Doward saying good evening, and she's following. CNN Walker, I'm following carefully from the Lutheran University Phoebe campus. Okay. I'm religiously following you guys from the Totota campus, Lutheran University of Liberia. All right. Okay, caller, hold on the line. We'll get to you. Let me use this opportunity to extend my sincere sympathy to Dr. Tutu for the loss of his aunt in person of Mother Florence Tutu. Gibson Flomo, I'm following from JFK. Thank you. Joshua Wole, following from the Lutheran University campus, Phoebe campus. Manny Zwan Zia, I'm following closely from Phoebe campus. Alita Weyi Napa, I'm following from Ganta, Niba County. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, Ganta, Niba County. Thank you. Robert Kokwe, I'm following from Phoebe campus. Wilfred Williams, I'm following from Salala, Lower Bon County. Thank you so much. Thank you for following us. All right, Joshua Wooler, nothing to address.
Nothing was addressed.
Oh, nothing was addressed. I'm sorry. Yeah, nothing was addressed. Go back to, okay, nothing was addressed. The reality is sad. All right, Emmanuel Kekula, the administration of the Lutheran University, mainly the Phoebe campus, needs to step up. There are a lot of missteps showing administrative incompetence. And that's what he meant. Imagine running a university where information dissemination is lacking. Students are confused every semester with the many changes in calendar of events in a semester. Staff running his or her own decision without following administrative proceeding. I mean, it's scaring. It is alarming there at Phoebe campus, operating like an elementary school.
We don't want to
Yeah.
comment there.
Emmanuel Kekula Elementary is 100 times better. Wow. This is serious. Joshua Willer, I love your analysis, sir. Alexander Simpson, administration error. Watching from the East Coast, Flomo Livingstone. Why only few of the students suspended? That's a good question. Why only few? And a lot of students, participated in the protest. If LUL, which is the Lutheran University of Liberia, must flourish, we need problem solvers, not people that are emotional. Very true. How can a post-basic student suspend an
additional 4 years?
Additional 4 years without knowing where they are graduating? If this situation can be quickly addressed, our parents will take the institution to court. This is serious. This is serious. Mr. Cesar, you are very sound.
A teacher.
I hope they are listening. I hope they are listening to this show. They are listening. I can guarantee you that they are listening. Students are not enemies to this institution, and you are quite correct. Our Reverend, the Reverend Towa Thomas Jala. Good evening, folks. Suspension without due process at the Lutheran University. Yes, that's what's happening, Reverend.
That's what's happening, Reverend.
Yeah. Hope they will listen to the show regularly and learn some lessons. We hope so. Hope they are following the talk show. I bet you they are following. If a student raises a concern, the administration will create an enemyship. We are worried why we pay our money and they treat us any way they want. This is very bad. In order for the Lutheran University Phoebe campus to effectively function, there's a need for change in administration because the establishment of this institution, the current administration is finding it difficult to operate the institution. All right. Where can we call on the show? The number is right there. It's on the screen. How can we call? It's right there. No structure. LUL Dream dead on a X. All right. This guy said no. This guy says there should be change in mindset. That's true. Pin the number. This is not a regular Facebook platform to pin the number. For the sake of peace and smooth operation, let bygone be bygone. Even though there were some errors, but intentions is in good faith. All right. I'm following the show from Phoebe campus. Everyone call it. The issue at Phoebe campus is administration. So we see everyone is just pointing fingers to the administration.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, we need to come back. Can we just get this guy off the call right here and continue and proceed with Go ahead. You've been on the line for a long time. Go ahead. Good evening. Good evening. Go ahead. State your name, please. State your name and where you're calling from, and go ahead.
Yes, I'm Zebi Gizi. I'm calling from Phoebe compound.
Okay.
So let me firstly extend my thanks and appreciation to Dr. Puto for some clarity that they have made And also, I also want to follow Sisse and Dallas Elijah. The institution that Okoto is saying that they are accredited, yes. I think from my own analysis, they are accredited on paper. The school is not running as a university in Liberia. If I would say in my own analysis, some high school are even more better than our Lutheran University. The university is dying down gradually. So this institution, I think, was made for students to be impacted for the future. But instead, some instructors are harming students in the institution because students are fighting or making placing their points for things to go right there on campus. I cannot be paying my money for something that I feel I need to achieve. Then I'm not achieving it. I'm paying my money for it. Then someone want to hold me down towards it. Like one of my colleagues said, the president for the university don't have any eye on campus. He take direct mandate from whosoever that will give him information, and he just abide by it. If you get any information from campus where you are not basing, I think if you are draft on campus, find those that are involved, sit down and get the side of the story. But the whole institution that the student body have a protest. Having a protest, you come out and pick up few students that you say, oh, they were on the front line. Nobody was on the front line. Every student participated in the protest. So if there's any punishment, they should take it on the level. But you cannot punish a student for 10 days and punish another student for a semester. It's actually wrong. That's one. Two, when it comes to the laboratory department, our laboratory department is dying down, and most of our police are even taking transfer from the university because why? They don't have competent instructors. Even down to the director they have serving as the dean for the department. It is because of him our accreditation delay. Because some of the issues that were raised out, he's not having the document he's going to be having as a dean for the college or for a particular department. So there are a lot of issues that they need to put in place. Other than that, most especially for the laboratory department, with that in this institution. And I want person that if they were having any other institution in Bon County that operating laboratory, I want to leave this institution.
Thank you.
So that's my point there.
Thank you. Thank you so much for making your point. Thank you so much. The number is on the screen. If you want to call in, the number is on the screen. Elijah.
Yeah. Well, Sisse, Dr. Toto, and the rest of the team, you've heard from the students on campus, so you can hear this any louder than what is happening right now. The situation is really bad on campus, and we have to own the situation as Lutherans. We have to hold ourselves responsible to fix this. So, Sisse, Dr. Toto, and Willie, I want to get. How can we rewrite this? Okay, how can we restore the trust into this university? What are the next steps? We had the situation, and the situation is here right now. How can we? What recommendations can we give the administrators to say this is how we can rewrite this script? Sisse, I would like to hear your recommendations on that, or your response to the students, and then your recommendation.
All right. Yeah, thank you. I wanted to begin where my brother Willie, my cousin, ended when he said Rome was not built in one day. And I think the extension to that statement that everybody always leave out is that, but it burned down in one day. Rome was not built in one day, but it was burned down in one day. I'm saying this to say, look, the issue of not having a vice president for this, a provost, a dean, clearly led to what we're having right now. You're listening to students, they're telling you, a guy is telling you that he's been in the university, 4 years, has not failed any of the classes, and yet can't graduate. That's an administrative issue. The student before that said that even communication on how long the semester will last is not forthcoming. There are teachers that are running their own semester within the semester, their system within the school system. They got independent systems within the system. That is not what a university should be. And look, if they cannot listen to people on the ground, to their students, if you stifle student dissent, you stifle innovation, you stop yourself from growing. Yes, we can say it shouldn't be violent. We can guide them. We can teach our students. That is why they go to universities. They're not going to go in there to be medical doctors or to be mathematicians. You are training the whole person. You are teaching people how to behave in a civil way, that they're not shutting down and locking doors and other stuff. That is part of the educational system. But to shut down dissent, look, the university is in the business of creating products. We're selling products, and our consumers, our direct consumers, are giving us feedback, and those consumers are the students. They're giving you feedback, and we're not taking it. So the Lutheran University is at a fork in the road. They can decide to be the BlackBerry, or they can be the iPhone. All of you here remember the BlackBerry was the big thing that all the corporate, Fortune 500 folks were dealing with. BlackBerry refused to listen and adapt. Now, today, when you talk about BlackBerry, people don't even know what it is. But you got people iPhone 17 Pro Max. What is the difference between an iPhone 17 and an iPhone 17 Pro Max? Just the way the camera look a little bit.
That's
because
it.
they listen to their folks. What's the difference between an iPhone 14 and an iPhone 17? Picture. Anything you do with a picture. Right? And so for me, the critical question is, I really didn't want to come and sit here all day and bash the university. They've done wrong. They've done wrong. From the beginning to the end, they've done wrong. How do you restore? How do you move forward? I think for me is where I want to spend a lot of my time. Right? Because the Lutheran Church is my church. And I can come out here and put a 99 thesis on the door. I ain't going nowhere. I'm still going to be a Lutheran. So I think what Dr. Malakba and his team can do is to find a way to have our country style in America. The Native American folks do these circles. And we started bringing them into schools, the way you do restorative justice. You've done harm to the community. How do we invite you back into the community? What do you do? How can we have a conversation? I think the Honorable Dr. President needs to go on the campus. First of all, he needs to have a meeting with his team, his staff, his critical staff. Learn from what went wrong. What can you do better? What has been exposed by these students' action? How can we ensure that the next student protest that will come, because it's going to come, does not get violent? How can we ensure that these people have an outlet that is not violent, that is within the confines of a higher institution of learning? How can these folks critically critique the institution they're in for the growth of the institution without resorting to violence? I think that's the conversation. I think they need to rescind the suspension of one of these students. And there will be there should be consequences. I don't know. That could come in the form of a community service. There are some of these students who were the ringleaders who were locking doors and other stuff. Get them to go do some work in the community. Get them to volunteer in some elementary schools and other stuff as a way of learning. But don't deprive them of their learning. Don't take away from them their right to education, especially in a country like Liberia, where our people and the Lutheran University saw a need in that part of Liberia. That's the reason we are there. To now go there and say your suspension is to take away from you the thing we felt was going to be very powerful for you, I think is wrong. I think that Mr. President, some students went above and beyond in their action, but I don't think you throw the baby away with the bathwater. I think we come back, we sit, we have a discussion, have a restorative way of getting the students back into school, and we have a way to all of us to learn from what went wrong. What did the students do wrong? What can they learn from that? What were the lapses in administration? What can they learn from that? Even us that come on these platforms, what were some things, if we knew that students were talking about this before, what actions should we have taken to kind of make sure that we were ahead of this thing so it didn't get to this point?
Wow.
So that's very powerful, Sisi. Yep. I think in order to restore trust into the system, we have to instill some level of transparency in the situation. hold ourselves accountable, hold the students accountable, but also set the level playing field for everybody. I see our brother Leo Johnson wants to contribute to the show. He
Yeah,
wants to join the show. Is he on the phone?
yeah, we're gonna have him. Can we take
Yeah,
this
tell,
student who
tell Leo
So
to call me,
let me
but Leo is
just,
not allowed yet today
can
because
we
Leo owes me.
Dada Todo,
yeah.
can we take this student who have been on the line for a
Okay,
long
yeah,
time?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
let's take this
taking
student, yeah.
today is it? Yeah, today is the student day, so that give them more opportunity to express themselves.
My name is the first, the one who is associated with the suspension from our president. You know, let me first say thank you to the team for the podcast today. I think if the bull or whosoever is listening, this is a very good medium for them to know how to run the university. You know, one of the major problems of this school is communication barrier. And then the administration, they are not together. They just do things just the way they want to do it and how they see it. That is one of the major problems. And if they want the university to grow, let us stay away from the blame game on students, because students are always saying the truth, and that is why they are against students. They take the students to be enemies, and we can't have the university running like this, because if you are a president and then a message reaches to you that a laboratory student who is wanting to be accredited and then he disrupted or accreditation process, it should come to you. Is that student really found that you need to ask them some questions? But a letter, this is a university, we are not running high school. A letter already against me from my department head. And then he never sent me a copy to know what he is writing against me. And then he just wrote against me to the dean. And then the dean also didn't investigate in no hard time, because we just got done with the protest, so they all had our malice, and then he also went and wrote for the president. Nobody called to ask. All they knew that, oh, he did it. And then the news that went, it has to be carried up. Now they are stressing on the point that my father told them that, oh, he will take them to law school. Yes, he knows me well. He brought me on. He just said a student went to disrupt accreditation. That has to do with my character, not only in this school, but if I leave. Now they are saying that if we come back, we will fill in a form, and our form is associated with that being my file, will be my CV. And I myself know that I wasn't there to disrupt. I only went because I wanted to respect my director. He called me to help within the process. I cannot wake up and then the president said, oh, I went there and deliberately disrupt. And me, I had an intention from my home. I planned it and then went to the school to disrupt. Which has something to do with my character. So when I got a message and then the team, he had a fault. He called me after everything. He knew that I didn't actually do the act, but now they just feel that, oh, where justice is supposed to be, they don't want to place it there. I don't know why. And it shouldn't be like that. We are all here to learn. This is a Christian school. When you are operating, you make sure there is justice. There should be justice within the school. Yeah.
Wedding.
So now,
Yeah.
he doesn't know my status. He doesn't know my status.
Yeah, you can start her now. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
No, just go back what he's saying. Whether you able
Okay.
to play,
So let me come in. Let me. I was supposed to come in.
before you
Yeah.
come in, okay, what the student is saying, that
Thank
he
you.
was suspended based on him disturbing the accreditation process. That's another alarming situation, wherein he was asked to come on campus, bring others, and then another student, he was not even on the campus, but both of them were suspended. Willie, you able to play the recording?
Yeah, we have evidence to that. You know what? Give me a second. I think we can play that.
Yeah.
I couldn't play it. I couldn't have it to our device here, but we're gonna play it. Hold on one second. And we can. All right here.
So what are you doing tomorrow? Tomorrow? Yes.
You guys hearing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Oh, be on second shift. I'll be on second shift, including me. But I wonder about
But 10 students will be around tomorrow. The assessment team is here from anywhere to just be around for sample teaching.
Okay. So I'll post it in a group chat. I'll get 10 student name.
It's students from, I swear, those is teaching. Is he teaching you?
No.
If I just mention in general, let them just be around.
Alright. Anyway.
At most 10, even 15 not bad. At most 15.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. I'll get them.
Because the team is here, that one aspect of the assessment. There will be a presentation by any instructor. So any instructor that will come in, and nobody meet any course that will come out of it.
Okay.
Just, yeah.
Okay, I'll post it in the group chat.
Now,
So the
Sensei,
students were invited.
yeah,
You like-
Sensei, hearing that conversation between Jackson, who was suspended,
The guy who
with
was just on the phone. I think he's the
yeah,
guy
Jackson, who was suspended for disrupting the assessment process, he's been asked by the head of the lab to invite other students to be in any class that the
Right.
presentation will be held. They should be present in that class. And he goes to the classroom, and then they said, you came and disrupted the. So what's the level of disruption? What was
And he
the
invited students. He invited the
and
students.
when you invited him into the classroom,
So, gentlemen, now look at this here also too. That was it, though. It would be good for us to see
Lutheran
the
University.
ABL report, the ABL Commission report. It would be so good for them to make it popular.
yes,
For us to see that report, Like I said earlier on, I wanted to bring beyond information of the Lutheran University. We did everything. We did everything to make that university be the best. We think it would be. Let me get put up some of my professor.
I am leaving the show because your brother here.
no, Goya will beg you. Goya will
I
beg
have
you.
a restraining order against you. He only did the taxes at the border.
So like I was saying, right? Some of my classes that I taught, when you talk about organizational behavior or consumer behavior, you got the book I just wrote is about organizational behavior and looking at the complaint from the consumer from an academic perspective, which happen to be the student, to see what they are expressing out is very alarming. And I think we being a tri-party to the establishment of the Lutheran University, this is information we need to go back to the drawing board. Not back to the drawing board, but to revisit some of the things that we taught in mind to establish the university. It's kind of very disturbing. I just hope the leadership is kind of watching. The TD group that make what the Lutheran University, the Aliyah, the Lutheran Church University, and the Lutheran University, the tri-party agreement. Let them go back. Let me put myself in there because in there yet. Let us go back to put some of the basic mechanisms in place to get our institution real functioning. Because what I'm hearing, we are down to 100% functioning capacity level. It's very low. That's what I just said.
Elijah, before you can welcome Leo, can we give this lady, Leo, can we give her just a minute? I would time her, please.
Go ahead.
All right, go ahead, please. Yeah, we're listening to you. Everyone is listening. Go ahead. Just state your name, where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Elito N. I'm calling from the Phoebe campus. Yeah. I'm from the Elito N. calling from the Phoebe campus.
Yeah, go ahead and make your comment.
Yeah. For me, I'm from the laboratory. Even though I'm part of the suspended student, yeah, I'm suspended student for 10 days. has to do with Jackson Jubilee issue. Because they came over there, the teacher and the students, anything since the protest, the teacher really been on the students. Like for example, if the teacher will be teaching you to be saying, oh, we don't want for students to come lag or be we don't want for them want to happy you see all a lot of remarks. I hate to say the student were having something against the teacher. We have something against the administration, not individual, to be witch hunting people or to be saying that we're going after certain group of people. No. We had a cause, and we still had a cause because the administration, they didn't do anything about it. The only thing they did to bring a few mattresses on the dome, which were not even sufficient for everyone. From there, out of the 24 counts, nothing has been addressed. But they're going after students to suspend them, giving everybody there, they will look at you. They look at how you influence you are in the institution there, they will suspend you. Maybe for that, you will not be able to talk anymore. Maybe if things go wrong, you will not be able to speak up. Because for me, I already a friend.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your input.
Thank you so much, Woody, for taking those calls. We want to welcome our own Lutheran brother from Canada, Mr. Leo Johnson, another firecracker. We've been having Mr. Cesar Goya here providing his expert opinion, and we are happy to welcome you to the show, Mr. Yamplu. Welcome to the show.
Don't mind, Cece following me everywhere I go. Like problem.
Welcome to the show, my brother.
Good to see you all, and it's great to be on here. And Dr. Toto as well. Good to see Dr. Toto as well on here as well.
Okay.
Great conversation. Looking forward to it.
Before you can make a contribution, how is Canada? How's things going? We want to check in with you first.
Canada is good. You know, we're the country of not too many noise. We don't like noise. Even though you want to make out the 51st state, we will see what will happen. And when y'all make out the 51st state, y'all not get one vote because the Canadians don't like y'all.
Okay. All right. Well, we want to welcome you to the show. I guess you've been following the show graciously, and you want to make your input. Now, we've had the whole issue of the protest. There have been a breach of trust within the university with students on campus. You, as an administrator, as a leader, what's your take on the situation, and what recommendation do you have?
You know, I'll start by saying this. You can ask people for what you didn't give them. All of us on this platform here are affiliated with the Lutheran Church one way or the other, and have always wanted to see well, whether it's from the Aliyah group or from LCL or the Lutheran University itself. And I just want people I would preface my comments by saying, this is not a criticism, this is soul searching. When we sit to converse, we are soul searching because in the end, we all have to come together to do the work. We're not trying to just throw things out here. No, we're willing to do the work together and get a better outcome, because the Lutheran Church has had a massive impact on some of our lives, whether you like it or not. The Lutheran Church is one of the oldest in Liberia, especially when it comes to educational institutions. The Lutheran Church has a long track record and reputation in Liberia from the 1800s. That being said, I'm one person who have always been troubled by the Lutheran University. I think we rushed. We were not ready. We didn't have the resources. What it takes, I've always argued that you can't be running a university less than a high school. You can't do that. Now, I will hope that students I'll call for calm, and students that may be upset or whatever, I'll call for calm, but I'm also going to call on the administration of the Lutheran University to take some accountability here. You can't be holding students accountable when you yourself have no accountability. It's a two-way street. We have not provided the adequate learning environment and resources for these young people. It is just a fact. And if they're getting frustrated and getting upset, we hope that they can find all amicable ways of raising their frustration and how they're upset. At the same time, the school has to try and diffuse the tension using smart administrative techniques, given the fact that we ourselves have not been accountable to these students. We can't do that. And I would be the first to say it. We cannot be running a Lutheran university with no libraries. We cannot be running a Lutheran university with no laboratories. We cannot be running a Lutheran university with dormitories that don't have mattresses for people to sleep in. We cannot be running a Lutheran university with no adequate professors. And great to Dr. Malachi for what he has been able to manage. But the Lutheran Church track record in Liberia is shameful for us to be going backwards instead of building on the foundation that the Lutheran Church has built, including during the war. The Lutheran Church was still providing quality, high-level education. I still remember the Esther Bacon School.
Yeah.
Right? Some of our parents went there. We can't be in 2025. Then we go worse than what was even during the war. There is absolutely no excuse. So I want to re-echo what Dr. Toto also mentioned. The Lutheran University, in my opinion, should not have been open in the first place. There was no rush to this thing. It's not a competition. This is a great idea. We should have ensured that we mobilized the amount of resources that were needed. With someone like Dr. Malachi's help, we should have ensured the Lutheran Church and the Lutheran family has too much of a brain trust of qualified people that we could not have mobilized to do this thing in a way that would serve the interest, especially when you're providing education in a rural area. It's even more complicated when you are up in a rural area where resources are scarce and hard to come by. Some of these students have given everything that they have, literally. They have used it to be able to get an education through us, and we've let them down. So I think it is time for us to acknowledge and accept that we've let them down, diffuse this tension by going back to the drawing board, finding ways to help them elevate their grievances through much amicable means, and committing to doing what is required. We can't just say the students might not protest, they might be quiet, but then we don't say what we are responsible to do to ensure that the experiences will be different come next week, come next month, come 6 months down the road. For me, that's where it's at. We have a greater responsibility first to do our part. When we do our part, then we can start to hold students accountable.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson, for your comment. And I think we've mentioned on this show before that the Lutheran University was established in a rush. We took advantage of existing structures, and we did not evaluate these structures. We took over them, making them into colleges without having a real integration process and transitional process set in place. So we got to Phoebe, took over Phoebe without knowing exactly what was going on there.
Elijah, just quickly, to even forget about that, where was the money? We got no money.
Yeah.
How are you going to open a university to run with no, but we don't have the budget? Let's be honest, Dr. Malakba, in some cases, we can't even pay Dr. Malakba.
No.
Professors, we can't even pay them. No. So let's be fair. How are we going to be running? Dr. Toto here. People are higher.
Oh, we had a budget, Leo. We had a budget. We have the budget.
We have the budget.
You're not discussion.
Okay. Let me rephrase my comment. No, wait. Let me rephrase my comment since we are actually on the record here. We did not have the adequate budget to have dealt with the problem that we were going to do, because once you open a university, it comes with everything that it's supposed to come with.
Yes, I agree with you.
Leo.
Yeah.
This one you're announcing on the platform here, at some point that the people say, my remark comment no more. The people budget they have the way to raise the revenue that will be passed around when you get Pole inside. How would they don't go support university?
Let me
you are the insider when it comes to the Lutheran University.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why
because you got your signature affixed to that document. You guys were the brain behind establishing the Lutheran University. But we are at a crossroad here. And taking into consideration Leo's input, and what my brother Willie said, we are at the crossroad right now. The Lutheran Church in Liberia needs to step in. No, we're talking about taking accountability, and we're talking about rewriting the story of the Lutheran University. So the students now, they are on campus. This is a semester that these students, they've been suspended for 1 semester. All right. So do we want to, our goal is to provide education for these students. Do we want to punish people and also deprive them of education? Like when you read the communication, you say you suspended for 1 semester. Then You're gonna come on campus again. You're gonna go through counseling. You're gonna go do this. That's double jeopardy. You can't punish somebody twice. So if you want the man to go through counseling, you want the man to do other things, let's make some decision and bring the student back to school while we work on our system. Like Leo already said, we have a systemic problem. We don't have money to run a university. You keep a student out of the university. You keep money out of the university at the same time. So how do we fix that? I like to get the opinion on this. I know you.
Elijah, before Sisi can come in, I want to share something quick on the budget issue that I told you to talk about. Leo, if you recall, in 2018, when we went to Canada for the Leo Assembly, there was a delegation that went to Canada to have a pre-assembly conversation, and the issue of Lutheran University came up. The question was asked, how much do you guys, what's your budget? What are you thinking about to run a university?
Well, I was the one that asked the question, and it was
the guy said 25,000. The person said no. He said no. Go and think about it.
Go and think about it, and actually come back.
Look, let's get it. Look, let's get it right.
Okay, let's get it right.
The establishment of that university was no mistake. It was not a failure. It was not a failure. It was meant to be a vibrant institution in Liberia. But through the law, like I said, right, the three people that make up the formation of the Lutheran University, the three groups, having to listen to the concern that been raised on the show for the student, it's a need for them to get back and look at the concern and try to do some strategic engagement to try to put some trust back in the student. I agree 100% already. I've been saying with some of the, especially some of the concerns that have been raised by some of the students when it comes to the suspension. For me, I believe in due process. I'm a liberal progressive person. I believe in due process. And the decision that I was taking to put the student on suspension or registration into there, it doesn't occur well with me personally. So these are things that we have to address until there when it comes to that university. I will try to do my own background to with the board. I'm on the board also too, and we'll try to do some engagement and see how best we can reach out. It's not good for a new institution, especially the Lutheran University. Everybody said we have the history of good education in Liberia. Like Elijah normally say on the show, the Lutheran don't have a brain drain. You have the best knowledge people, the best expertise to run our university. But to see what's struggling at the infant stage of the university, it doesn't occur well.
But Dr. Toto, to your point, I would say right here before even saying anything, we need to have on hand at least $300,000 United States dollars in the bank.
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm just coming to even begin to scratch. What I hear you saying is we should get due process for the students and whatever that is. But let me ask the question: if the Lutheran University was to bring all the students back, let's say go through due process and bring them back, can we guarantee that when the classes open again, there will be a different experience than what they went through? Can we say that with all confidence?
Possible.
Possible. I would say no. There's no guarantee that we'll give any different experience.
Mm-hmm.
Even the board investigation, we have not seen that report. So what's the guarantee?
Gentlemen, we gotta bring this into perspective, and we have to bring this. We gotta get some direction here. Okay, I want us to look at rebuilding the trust in our university, right? Stability cannot return without structural dialogue on the campus. So I'd like to get, like, maybe the president is listening, maybe the bishop or whoever is listening. I'd like to get your expert opinion, Sese, Johnson, Dr. Toto. How can we restore trust and transparency and accountability within the Lutheran University, given everything that has happened? How can we restore trust back on this campus and stability where the student community will be happy, the faculties are happy, and then the Lutheran community is also happy? So I'd like to get your opinion, starting with you, Ceci.
I think I said a lot of them already. But look, I think one of the things that must first be done before faculty can meet with students is the administrators, the top notch, the creme de la creme. themselves need to sit in a room and have a come to Jesus moment and be frank and open about with the conversations about what needs to be done. What are the critical needs that they found that need to be addressed to move forward? Because remember, that trickles down to the students. It trickles down to the faculty, and it trickles down to how to deal with students. The second piece is I'm hoping that my uncle Dr. Malakpa will understand that we can't be punitive in our punishment. We have to be restorative. What he laid out is punitive, and is absent of any due process or any laid out structure. What was the mathematical formula for determining 10 business days versus a semester?
That apply the equation can teach you again.
Well, but we have to know, because for something to be functional, Dr. Toto, you know that you are a mathematician. A function has every input, it has a guaranteed output, unique output. And so if you put everything in here and we just take it in output by however way, then it's not a function, ergo it's not functional. And if it is not functional, it's dysfunctional. So I think Lutherans being Lutherans, Dr. Mapa and his team have to meet with the students in a town hall style conversation. They can lay out the groundwork on how they get these students, these educators, these learned young people to articulate their issues without being disrespectful, because we stay a religious institution, but we can lay guidelines. They need to listen to these students. These are your consumers of the product you're creating. Yeah. No company survives in the absence of customer service.
Yeah.
Even Lone Star, when you can put your money on your phone, it disappear when they get customer service. Right? No man never can sell a papi do. They can ask you question. Man, so how are the food today? They got is customer service, it's feedback. We need to have that. And so for me, what I would say is, hey, as I listen to those students, as I'm reading some of the what's on the screen, you can't have somebody that one of the Nene is saying gets done with their thesis in 2022,
2024, yeah,
and she's yet to graduate. What are you holding them for? So the first thing that Toto, when you're meeting with your team at a board level, is the first question is, why haven't we graduated these students? Why are we still holding them? And why are we running one semester a year? If it is the issue of finance, then clearly communicate that on your calendar of events and to the students before they register, before they take the entrance, that at Lutheran University, because we just starting, we only run one semester a year. Then the students are aware that we are not selling them things, you see that when you win, you see that when you lose. We're not doing that. They clearly understand what they're getting into. And then some students might even decide, you know what, I'm going to come to the university knowing that we run one semester a year, but I can go somewhere else to get other credits and transfer here so that I'm going to graduate in 4 years. But in the absence of that, I think we are doing a disservice to our university, to our church institution, and we are setting ourselves out to not be trusted in the future to get other products that we try to sell.
Thank you very much, Mr.
So my short question is that Malakpa should go on the campus, meet with these students. It's not a big deal. Sit down and listen to your students. I do that in my role as director of math. I go and listen to people who are telling me, I tell them I got a curriculum. I say, hey man, run a curriculum. And he said, we're doing that shit. Like, I got to get out of my feelings and go to them and say, why aren't you doing it? There are some things maybe I didn't see in the curriculum that they're seeing. There are some PD I should have provided maybe that I didn't, or they're in their feelings. I need to understand. I just can't sit in my office at a district office and say, you ought to do this or else you will suspend it or we'll fire you. That's not how you lead.
No.
Right?
So, thank you, Mr. Sensei. Let's get to Mr. Johnson. How can we restore stability on the campus of the Lutheran University, and how do we do this through structural dialogue and restore trust to our institution?
First thing, we need to get all of the students, if there are student leaders or those involved with the protests, we need to get all of them to the table to sit down with the university leaders. That's the first test of accountability. And let them know where the university have struggled and let them know some of the issues that they have faced that we're aware of, including accounts that they have elevated. And asking them, appealing to them to give the university 6 to 9 months to come back with a comprehensive report about what the university will do and the steps that the university will take to either resolve some of the issues, and in that report, be very honest. The issues that a university may not be able to resolve right away, what kind of mitigating strategies will they put in place to ensure that it does not disrupt the learning environment for students who are sacrificing so much? So in my opinion, Dr. Malakba, the leaders, the board, everybody, call the students back. This is no ego time. Show some accountability. Let them know that you are aware and some of their issues are valid. And not that we are arguing at the things.
The message now my brother, you my
Thank you too much.
Okay, so when you
Yeah.
just disrupted, Dr. Toto, I don't know whether you want to contribute.
Yeah,
towards
so
the
that
restoration
so
of
like
trust.
I already provided a solution to that answer, Elijah. Like I said, looking at the concern raised tonight on the show, I think there's a need for the leadership, for the tripartite establishment of the university to come together to see how better to address some of the concern. Because what is really trending on here tonight.
Anytime you say tripartite, I can just want to say sour. It can remind me of Baba Malu then tripartite. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the tripartite, the formation of the Lutheran University came up with the formation of 3 groups. So that was the tripartite. So there's a need for the 3 groups that gave rise to the Lutheran universities to come together to address this concern because it's very serious. To see, I'm taking back to see some of the concerns that have been raised. And like everybody said, with this struggle to open the university, I won't say there say it was very to a rare and roses everything to a like a honeymoon. With this struggle, even to put some of the documents together, say, would even have, I don't want to go in that aspect of it, but I don't want to be at each side of there putting OSA, I don't want to be weird for tobacco. But what I can just say, it is a vital information that been passed out tonight from the student body. Like Leo said, they're the leadership, they have the students trying to meet with the student population, their leaders come together, have an engagement. And the university come out to their own platform. Some of they know very well they are struggling. In terms of staffing. Staffing, one of the serious problems in the university. That Maragba also too, Jay Bashi as a president, he also lecture courses also too. He teaches some of the courses. We don't have adequate staff teacher to teach some of the courses. So it's something very concerning. But this is a time that this is an eye opener. See whether to address some of the concern. All I can say.
Thank you, Dr. Toto. Time is fast spent. We have to bring this show to an end. So in the next 5 minutes, we'll go around the table.
But Elijah, I can make a contribution.
No, I come to you, Willie. You will make a contribution to. The both of us will talk a lot on the show here. So today, I want to give the stranger the time to talk on anything. So yeah, but I'll get your comment. Then we'll go to the closing statements.
What I want to say quickly is this: that we've done this in the past, and most of our problems, the issues, or conflicts that we had in Liberia, one best way we had was to sit around the table. I know the previous, speakers have already, mentioned something like that. But if we can just come to the drawing board and listen to the students, okay? We said this before on previous shows that the administration may not be able to, adhere to all of the demands, the 24 count demands, but bring the students to the table. You can listen to the students. Despite their demands, they are still willing to be. Who will be a part of a university or an institution and you are just there perpetually? You're seeing all these issues, but you cannot even cross and say, you know what? I will go to Methodist University in Ganta. I will go to Bonn to Bond Technical College. I will go I will go down to Bangibi and go to Kakata University. But you still stay with that with the Lutheran institution. It shows the bond that these students have with the institution. So leadership need to be very much far-sighted enough to say, you know what, let's call these people to the table, call the students to the table, instead of this taking the path of punitive actions. But I want to say one or two pieces quickly. What is Aliyah's own role when it comes to the university? I know that Toto is an insider. Okay, Aliyah helped to give birth to this university. Even in Liberia, prior to
it's Aliyah's signature project.
Right, it's Aliyah's signature. So what are you doing? Hearing all of these, your signature project. What are you doing? Are you just sitting on the fence and looking at your own signature project dying?
She picking Pelabo. She picking Pelabo on the phone.
I know she picking Pelabo.
Yeah, I mean, the university is run by the administration.
Sorry?
The university is run by the administration.
It's run by administration, but guess what? On the board of Aliyah, on the board of the university, you have 3 representatives on that board. From Aliyah, you have 3. Okay? Aliyah is highly influential on our board, or when it comes to Lutheran University, even the LCL, the tripartite group, because you have more in stake when it comes to Lutheran University. So we just sit and look and say it is run by the administration. So I want to find out this for you, Dr. Tudo. Dr. Tudo, you send me as Aliyah representative. You send me to the Middle East. You say, okay, Lutheran Wolf, I'm going to serve as a volunteer for the Lutheran Church there, but Aliyah sent me through the Lutheran Church, and I'm there volunteering. If something happening to me, that you just be quiet and say, okay, that Lutheran Church sent a man there, you will inquire. Okay, I'm your member. I'm your representative. You want to inquire. You want to just all of the news that is taking place. All of the issues taking place on the campuses. Okay, of Lutheran University, from registration to entrance to you have one science college, but giving 2 entrance exam. Okay, having 2 separate calendars. Are you not concerned? I have a problem also with Aliyah. I don't know how Aliyah is going about with this. Be honest.
Thank you, Willie. Like I said, time is fast spent. We're going to take our final statement here shortly. But we want to say thank you to all of our viewers for staying with us on this issue. We know this is a very sensitive situation. We as Lutheran, we are not proud of what our institution is doing to all of you out there. And we on this show, the Lutheran Connection show, we are very concerned, and we were going to continue to advocate for change and reform at the Lutheran University. And that's why we bring people who are in education, like our brother on the show today, Mr. Sisse Goya. He is an administrator working with the US-based school system. So he comes with wealth of knowledge. Dr. Toto as well has a lot of background in education as well. So we come here to advocate for all of you. We are not we are not saying what you guys did is right. We want you to understand that some of the things that you did, it was criminal also, and you should be accountable for it. But at the same time, we have to hold ourselves accountable as well. So as we are drawing close to the close of this show, I just want to get your final statement. So we'll start with you, Mr. Goya.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And I wish maybe the conversation was going to be, we're going to be having this on a different conditions. Education is a scarce commodity in most places in the world, but particularly so in Liberia and the Lutheran University. I'm not here today to discuss the merit on why it opened soon or late. We have a whole different conversation about that. And so I'm gonna kind of stay away from that. But that we saw, the Lutheran University saw a need, and that's the reason you got established and where you got established and when you got established. Right? Maybe it was because of this very need that we, quote, rushed to open the university because we saw an immense need. And the Lutheran Church haven't always been in the business of kind of meeting the needs of the people in Bond County and Lofa County and those areas. Hence the Phoebe hospital, the disaster hospital, and all those other places. So there is a history to that. And I'm not saying this to excuse if it was rushed and worked at them. I'm just trying to put this in context. I think that having students in a university enrolled perpetually is wrong. It borders on being criminal. You're holding somebody from getting out and going to earn a living. We know in Liberia, if you haven't graduated yet, I mean, in many places, if you haven't graduated yet, your earning potential is limited by the fact that you're staying in school.
Yes,
right?
That's true.
And you're holding on people from being hungry to being fed. I think that is wrong. I think they should try to graduate these students that have met the requirements, and those students that have been there since 2020, 5 years now. Try to look at your system, do an inventory. What can we do now to graduate these kids and get them out, and get new people in, and bring in new, folks with more money in, and we can get these other students out and open rooms and open spaces. That's how you deal with some of your financial shortfalls. And so, and I will end by saying, in leadership, just because I took an action doesn't mean I cannot undo that action. You can always undo every action that you take as a leader. As a matter of fact, it is a hallmark of the strength of a leader that goes back and reflect on the action that they have taken. Right? When you are an educator, you are forever reflecting. That I don't know what I'm talking about. You deliver a lesson today. You go home. You got to think about that lesson. How well did they learn? As a matter of fact, when the students take the test, you look at that test that the students are reporting back to you on the way that lesson landed yourself. This is a judgment on you. You're reflecting. I think I should change the word problem I put on. I don't want to more. I got to change it all the way for next semester. I got to reteach it. And so when you take action as a leader in an educational system, you have to reflect. And there's nothing wrong with reflecting and saying, yo, what I took was a little bit heavy-handed, might not be wrong. And I always like to tell Liberian people, just because it is your right to do something doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing to do, right? And so I will hope that that Dr. Malakwa and his team can think about this and treat these students in the context of the way we work in Liberia as their children. Go back on campus, have a conversation. If you can't have it with the whole student population, have it with the leaders. I will argue, have it with the whole student population. Be transparent with them. And you have a 99-point thesis. We get it. We value them. We acknowledge those are needed. Here's our current condition. We can only meet 10 of those 99 points. But we can tell you that if we work together, we will get to those 99 points later on. Be transparent with them. Answer their questions. I think it doesn't make sense to try to run a shadow system in a university, because then the student thinks you have what you don't have. And because they think you have what you don't have, they demand what they think you should be able to give them when you find you're not capable of giving it to them because you haven't been transparent. So please withdraw those letters. Please make sure you have meeting with the students and reopen the university. Let the people learn about. That's what we need. We need more people to learn.
Thank you, Mr. Goya. Dr. Toto, your parting comment.
Again, let me say thank you again for moderating. Good show, good discussion. Especially our guest, Mr. Goya, and then Leo came in. I still believe and trust in the leadership of Dr. Malakwa. From the leadership perspective, he's a very good man, and I'm sure he will do his best to deliver for the university. Was the university rushly open? I would say no. The process was done, and we look at to be a success. But something happened down the line, and probably that's what happened to the university. So we want for people to understand that the university is struggling, even to fill up some of the gap these teams are having, and they are doing they will do their best. And we just want for the student population also to, I do support the protests, why really when they express their grievances, but they should also understand also they should know that they are there to learn. They can express their grievances in a very respectful way, but not to put people on hostage, not to block the entrances of the hospital. Let them do it a way to express to express it. It's part of their fundamental right, to protest. It's their constitutional right to do that, but not to do it in a respectful way. And I believe that the university will will learn from some of these things, especially the uphold of messages that in the chat today and the call, the Vero call. It's kind of very heartbreaking. And again, like I said, I hope the Vero parties that's at the university to go back in their closet and look at some of the concerned to know where they are. Let them look at their progress report and also at the center look at some of their failure. Where there's a need for them to improve to make that university one of the best that we all dream ought to be one of the best in Liberia, not Liberia, but West Africa as a whole. But we'll continue to follow and monitor the situation, Elijah. We just hope for the best that university will look in the direction, especially like sister was saying, not to be suspending students, but to see how best to engage the student population to resolve some of the differences. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Toto. Willie.
Yeah. So part of my closing comment, I just want to dedicate a minute to this brother. He has been on the line for a very, very long time, and I will just take the 2 minutes to wrap up. Go ahead, my brother. You take a minute. That's all, please.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. My name is Thomas F. Sumo. I'm one of the post-business students of
All right.
Yeah, sorry for the update. Thomas F. Sumo, one of the post-business students of LUL. And I want to say thank you for the show. Thanks to all of the panelists for their fun comments and analysis. You see, I entered the school I entered the school 2015. During that time, it was a diploma program. I graduated 2018. At that time, we started, campaigning for the BSc program, and we're hearing rumors of BSc until recently when the school decided to embark on the BSc project. But at that time, during 2018, some of those students that ended with us, they decided to stay for the BSc. So from 2018 up to present, just imagine those students are staying in the school. For us, we graduated, we came back, we started work. But for the other students that ended up 2017, they stay in the school while they are not graduating. So for the students to protest, it actually pains. Because you can spend 5, 6, 7 years in one school for BSc and you can get it, and other than that, you stay in the school. So these students have reason to protest, but even though there was no error, but I believe the intention, probably they never just knew how to go on with it. So that's where they made some of those mistakes. Okay. But I believe that our student, because for me, I'm a post-busy student, even though, but I also one of the laboratory.
All right, thank you. So, just to piggyback from what the student was saying, that in order for us to make progress, when I mean us, the Lutheran University, Lutheran Church in Liberia, and Aliyah, to make progress, we need to treat this university as if it is our own. And what I mean by that is that we should, deal with the situation in a manner that will serve, that both parties will benefit from, will go about, being satisfied. One issue here is that the result of the investigation led by Brother Abel Lewadi. Until now, Abel came on the show and told us that he was going to come on the show periodically and update the public, and he was going to make that report public. Until now, we have not seen anything. Leo has a very important question. If we call the students today and say, okay, sign some documents and say, let bygone be bygone and go back to the school, are they just going to rely on let bygone be bygone and go back to the school and receive harsher punishment than what they are receiving now, being suspended for, being suspended for 10 days or being suspended for a semester? I don't think that is the solution to the problem. What will resolve the issue is for us to put our money where our mouth is. If the Lutheran Church in Liberia and the Lutheran University want to run this institution, they need to run the institution as if they are the main business. Let me put it that way, excuse me, lack of words, that they really main business to run an institution. Because you cannot run an institution based on sentiment. You cannot run an institution based on hearsay. The president himself did not even go on campus, but yet, based on hearsay, he's suspending some students. So I want to join the students. Okay, I want to join the students. I want to join their parents and call on the institution. These issue, the action of suspension, they have to draw back these actions of suspension. Call the students to the table and sit and talk. And I will end on this: that if you actually look at the issue of this Lutheran University, the students stand to gain, and the university is selling a product they stand to gain as well. If these students decide to go to a different university, who are you going to suspend and what are you going to run? So the administration of this university need to be very, very much cognizant of the fact that they are not only doing this to harm the students, but they are also doing it to harm themselves as an institution.
Thank you, Willie. So thank you for all of what you guys have said. In our final message to the administrators of the Lutheran Church in Liberia University and that of the students, our final message here is a balanced approach is required. The student must be accountable for their actions. Administrators should be held accountable for the failure that triggered this crisis on campus. The board must lead with transparency, fairness, and decisive reform to protect the future of this young university. And this combination of accountability, reform, and communication is what will bring long-term stability and restore trust and prevent future crisis at this institution. So with that, we want to say thank you to all of you for joining us today. Thank you to our guest, Mr. Sisiguya, and our contributor, Mr. Johnson, who joined the show later on. And my two brothers in studio, my partners in crimes, Mr. Dr. Toto and Willie Kowe. I want to say thank you all for joining the show, and our viewers will say thank you for joining us today. Until next Sunday, we will be back here with another exciting topic. We hope you can all join us. Thank you. Willie, take us home.